We've been having a number of earthquakes in Alaska, a great number of earthquakes, and also volcanic eruptions. Alaska earthquakes, this is the earthquake swarm that we've been having 98 earthquakes in the last 10 days in Alaska. This is by Express UK Georgia Laud. The earthquakes have already begun to rock Alaska as we get into the new year, a staggering 98 in only 10 days. But is this the reason there have been so many quakes in Alaska? We know that in the Aleutian Island arc, we have a tremendous amount of quakes, and that these are extending all the way, of course, into Russia. And the Kamchatka volcano, that is also erupting. Now, Alaska is no stranger to earthquakes. Just over a month ago, experienced a magnitude 7.0 quake, triggering a tsunami alert along the coast. The earthquakes which have shaken Alaska this year have ranged from magnitude 2.5 to magnitude 5.9. The latest quake to shake the United States there occurred Thursday, yesterday, January 10th. That was a measure of a 4.1 Richter. And according to Professor Bill McGuire, Professor of Earth Sciences at University College London, Alaska is one of the most tectonically active places on the planet, he says. It's due to Alaska's position above two moving plates. Professor McGuire explains, it's on the Pacific Ring of Fire, and many of the quakes, especially the big ones, result from the Pacific Plate plunging down beneath the North American Plate. There are also plenty of other active smaller faults, so earthquakes in the state are a constant threat. There have also been changes in the environment which have contributed to Alaska's increasing seismic activity. Professor McGuire says in Alaska, earthquake activity is increasing where ice loss due to climate change has been greatest. Quote, some ice fields have lost a vertical kilometer of ice in the last 100 years, which has reduced the load on the Earth's crust beneath and made it easier for the faults to move. When faults move, earthquakes occur. However, predicting this is not something which we can do. Professor McGuire said it's simply not possible to predict earthquakes in the sense of saying a quake will happen on a particular fault, particular date. We know these are images, some of these images are from USGS 1964, the Good Friday huge earthquake of a 9.2 Richter. They were not ready for that, of course. The 9.2 quake triggered a tsunami and wreaked havoc. Now, although keeping track of certain faults that are known to move very often can be a way to monitor quakes, the earth science expert says quakes on particular faults or bits of faults tend to happen with characteristic return periods that can vary from decades to centuries. So if a fault normally ruptures to give an earthquake every 50 years or so, and there has not been one for 70 years, then there is an elevated probability of one occurring, and this probability can be calculated, he says. And of course, due to Alaska's position on the Pacific Ring of Fire, its location making it one of the most tectonically active places on the planet, major quakes could occur at any time. One area of concern is the quake, so-called Shumagin Gap, where the Alaska subduction zone fault is not ruptured in living memory. Professor McGuire warns if this ruptures, the quake and resulting tsunami could be on par with the 1964 quake. That's the Good Friday quake, or even worse. Or even worse, that was the 9.1 Richter magnitude. In March 1964, a huge, it was not 9.1, it was 9.2. It shook Alaska, triggering the tsunami that killed 139 people across 3 states. This was the second largest earthquake ever to be recorded. The first was the 9.5 quake, which rocked Chile in 1960. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.